The more skills I have mastered, the more I have realized there are straightforward systems to learn anything. Today, I'll be teaching you these so that you can master numerous skills too, whether it's a new language, an athletic ability, a musical instrument, or academic subject. Mastering new skills can elevate our career or studies, add richness to our lives, and give such an amazing sense of accomplishment. So experiment with the following ideas and elevate your abilities. Developing several skills simultaneously can be time-consuming, and life can sometimes always be busy. So I try to get around this by cycling between development and maintenance phases for different skills. At any given time, I'm usually prioritizing 1 or 2 skills that I want to improve, and these take up most of my focus and time. But in the meantime, I maintain all the other skills I've already developed using the minimal amount of work possible. Last year, I started learning chess, and my Portuguese language improvement was a priority, so they were in a development phase. Meanwhile, I made sure that I still did enough work so that I didn't lose any of the other skills I had already built. As you may have guessed, right now I am trying to learn how to make good YouTube videos, so that is in a development phase. But chess and everything else I've developed over the years is still being maintained in the background. Depending on what the skill is exactly, my development phases can last anywhere from a couple of months up to a year. Cycling your priorities like this works wonders, because if you completely stop your activities, it can take several weeks or months of practice just to get back to your previous level of skill. However, if you drop them back to a maintenance phase, you save all of that time required to rebuild your skill and instead can get right back to improvement. This way, you can match your focus and available time in accordance with your priorities, motivations, and the general madness of life. Anything complicated can be broken down into a simple model. During my doctoral research, I did a placement in a computational biology lab where my task was to design new high-performance computing tools for the development of new medical therapies. I had taught myself computer coding and could keep up with the pros. But still, several times a week, my project would come up against a barrier, and the advice from my mentor was always the following: strip the concept down to a basic outline and accomplish this simplified model first. So if I wanted to automate the analysis of several datasets, first I needed to figure out the code to automate the analysis of just one dataset. Once I'd achieved that, I could add complexity to the code and expand it to handle multiple datasets. This approach works well for athletic skills too. For my calisthenics and handstand training, I always make sure that I've built a solid competence with the foundations before gradually adding in difficulty with the harder progressions. Far too many of us set vague goals with no idea of when we want these achieved and end up a year later still far from reach of our goals. To avoid this, I borrowed an idea from the medical field of rheumatology and applied it to skill development. Here, we follow these steps. 1. We set a realistic target. 2. Decide how to assess the target. 3. Decide when to assess if the target has been reached. And 4. Make a commitment to changing course if the target is not achieved. We also include shared decision making in our plans. Let's walk this through. Say that you're starting out with learning the guitar. A realistic target would be to learn a new song with a level of difficulty appropriate for a beginner. Here, you consider this target a success according to the feedback on a video of your performance of the song, which you will post on online forums. To decide when to assess if your target has been reached, you ask a more experienced friend who thinks it would roughly take 2 or 3 months to learn, and you post on online forums to ask the opinions from fellow enthusiasts. After this advice, you decide to set a 3-month timescale on the target, set a reminder in your calendar, and commit to regular practice. After 3 months, you can play most of the song but still struggle with 1 or 2 difficult parts. Regardless, you record a video performing the song as best as possible and post it online for comments. You take the feedback on board constructively and use it as guidance to shape your future practice. Also, as your target was not fully reached, you commit to spending an extra 15 minutes at the end of your daily routine practice to work specifically on those parts of the song that gave you the most trouble. As simple as this may seem, this approach has helped me to reach advanced levels of ability with flamenco guitar. But this system can be used in so many more ways. Think about how it can be utilized in your pursuits. Whatever target you've set for yourself, do not reinvent the wheel. In nearly all cases, someone will have done it previously and can provide guidance for you. With the power of the internet, you will find helpful people in online communities and forums. There are endless resources on YouTube and in blogs. Like I said, this past year I've been working on learning chess, and it isn't hard to find experienced players online who will coach you for free. I have spent years practicing my Brazilian Portuguese conversation skills with no-cost online language exchange platforms. Also, do whatever is necessary to make sure that you can get in the work to achieve your target. Whether it is scheduling your practice sessions in your calendar, waking up earlier, bailing on unimportant commitments, or going down the YouTube rabbit hole of productivity content to understand where you are throwing away time, make it happen. When I spent a year snowboarding in Canada, the only place I could exercise was in my tiny bedroom. I have to travel a lot right now for work, and I still always make sure to get in my workouts. Even if you need to bring your guitar to the laboratory so you can practice at 11 p.m. at night, there is always a way. The reality is, if you want to master a skill, you are going to need to work at it for years. Focus on quality practice that you can sustain in the long term. You might be thinking from what I've said that my workouts are kinda extreme, but I actually only work out 3 times a week. I always find that if I do more than this, I get injured, which really harms progress, and I simply just enjoy it less. And this brings me to another really important point. Have fun. If your activities are not enjoyable to you, you will not be able to stick with them in the long term. Whether this means making your activities more sociable or more silly, make sure that your skill development plans bring you joy and friendship. Guys, if you want more resources on skill development, check out all of the free content on my blog. Also, I've written an entire book and made an online course dedicated to the subject. Finally, please remember to like this video, hit that subscribe button and notification bell, and share with your friends. Until next time, take care guys.